Amidst the hustle of her daily commute, Anna's attention was caught by a feeble meow from the roadside. A sickly cat, surrounded by a litter of kittens, lay vulnerable with pleading eyes. Without hesitation, Anna gathered the feline family into her car, seeking immediate help from the local veterinarian. She hoped for a simple remedy, but the truth awaiting her was far from what she had braced for. What shocking discovery did the vet make? Welcome to Wonderbot Animals. As the vet carefully examined the frail mother and her offspring, a horrifying revelation was made, leaving Anna's face drained of color, her heart racing with both fear and disbelief. "Where did you find them?" the vet asked Anna, his tone suddenly serious. Anna shared every detail, thinking it was just valuable information for the eventual diagnosis, but there was more to it. He inspected the mother cat thoroughly as she looked very sickly, even more than her kittens, who were severely malnourished. "Will they make it?" Anna asked hopefully. The vet paused for a moment, looking at the cat and her kittens. "I'll do what I can," he eventually sighed while giving the cat a shot. "But they have to stay at the clinic for a few days," he added. Anna nodded. She hadn't expected anything less. But as she looked at the vet's expression, it looked like the vet was withholding something from her. "What is it?" Anna asked. She could clearly see there was something on the vet's side. The vet grunted as he paused. "I think we have to call the police," he eventually said, his voice low and full of sadness. But what had happened to the mother cat and her kittens? Why did the vet want to call the police? And will the cat and her kittens eventually get better? Anna had been running late the day she heard the cat's desperate meows for help. She had just stopped in front of a traffic light with her windows rolled down. At first, she thought it was just a regular cat meowing, but she quickly realized those weren't normal meows. Without a second thought, she changed course and parked her car along the road. Anna was taken right back to the moment her childhood cat had gotten sick. The meows sounded so similar. She hurried out of her car and paused to listen to where the meows were coming from. A little bit later, she was on her hands and knees, waist-deep in bushes, trying to get the sick cat to safety when she realized it wasn't just one cat. It was actually a mother cat with her kittens. Anna gasped when she saw the 4 young babies lying by their mother's side. She quickly took off her jacket, wrapped it around the mother and her babies, and put them all in her car. After taking place in the driver's seat again, she looked beside her at the tiny kittens meowing like crazy. She quickly called her work and told them she was running late due to an emergency. She looked up the nearest veterinarian clinic and headed over there. The mother cat looked very sickly and was breathing heavily. Anna feared the cat had been run over or attacked by another animal and could only hope she had found the cat right on time. Arriving at the vet, Anna struggled to hold all the animals in her arms. She even put 2 of the kittens in her pocket. The receptionist looked at her with furrowed brows as Anna placed the sick cat on the desk. "I found this cat on the street," Anna said, thinking the receptionist would immediately jump into action, but she didn't. "Under which name is the appointment?" she asked as she began to type on her computer. Anna paused for a moment. I just found her like 15 minutes ago." The receptionist looked up, and Anna couldn't help but notice how bored she looked. "We're fully booked for today," the receptionist then said, shocking Anna. "If not treated now, this cat won't make it," Anna eventually exclaimed. The receptionist's eyes widened in shock, not the finally realizing the severity of the situation shock, but the "I can't believe she just yelled at me" shock. "I need to speak to a vet, now," Anna continued, and it seemed like the demanding approach was working. The receptionist quietly got up and walked into one of the treatment rooms. Anna sighed as she turned around, but she was shocked to see the full waiting room staring at her. She sheepishly smiled as she tucked her hair behind her ears. "Very sick cat over here," she said as she tried to make light of the situation and secretly hoped they didn't all think she was a total asshole. Everyone was silent, which made the situation even more awkward, so Anna quickly turned around again so she wouldn't have to look at those judging faces anymore. Anna waited nervously for the receptionist, who seemed to be taking her time despite the urgency of the sick cat. Anna kept glancing at the mother cat and her kittens, their weak meows pulling at her heartstrings. She tapped her foot impatiently, feeling every second tick by like an hour. The receptionist finally returned, but Anna couldn't shake the feeling that she was deliberately dragging her feet. "Please hurry," Anna whispered, clutching the kittens closer. The receptionist barely acknowledged her, moving at a glacial pace toward the back rooms. The receptionist finally returned, directing Anna to examining room 2. But before Anna could move, a woman in the waiting room protested loudly. "Hey, I've been waiting here for over an hour," she exclaimed, pointing at Anna accusingly. Anna turned, startled by the outburst. "My cat's in critical condition," Anna tried to explain, but the woman wouldn't have it. "We all have emergencies," the woman shot back. The receptionist, looking flustered, tried to calm the situation. Anna felt her patience wearing thin, but she stayed silent, holding the kittens tightly. The woman accused Anna of getting special treatment, causing a brief argument as Anna defended the cat's severe condition. "I'm not here to cut the line," Anna said firmly. "This cat might not make it if we wait." The woman rolled her eyes, crossing her arms. "We all think our pets are the most important," she retorted. The waiting room buzzed with murmurs of agreement. Anna felt her frustration bubbling up. "I'm just trying to save a life here," she said, her voice rising. The receptionist looked ready to intervene again. Anna managed to convince the woman of the cat's dire state, calming the situation and heading towards the exam room. "Look, I found her on the side of the road," Anna pleaded, her voice softening. "She and her kittens are barely hanging on." The woman's expression shifted from anger to concern. "All right," she sighed. "Just take care of them." Anna nodded gratefully and followed the receptionist's lead. The tension in the room eased as Anna walked down the hall, the tiny cries of the kittens echoing in her ears. If you care about rescuing animals in need and want to hear more stories like Anna's, please subscribe to Wonderbot Animals. Join our community to discover more heartwarming tales that remind us of the kindness and compassion in the world. Anna entered examining room 2, noticing the vet seemed displeased, likely due to the receptionist's portrayal of her. He barely glanced up as Anna placed the mother cat and her kittens on the table. "These were found by the road," Anna began, but the vet cut her off. "The receptionist told me everything," he said curtly. Anna swallowed hard, sensing his irritation. "They're in really bad shape," she insisted, hoping to shift his focus to the cats. The vet sighed heavily, finally turning his attention to the sickly animals. The vet's demeanor changed when he saw the extremely sick cat and her kittens, realizing the seriousness of the situation. His eyes softened and he leaned in closer to examine them. "These little ones are in bad shape," he muttered, almost to himself. Anna watched as he gently lifted each kitten, checking their tiny bodies for signs of trauma. "We need to act fast," he finally said, his previous irritation completely gone. Anna felt a flicker of hope amidst her worry. He began examining the cat, asking Anna detailed questions about where she found them and their initial condition. "Were they all together?" he asked, his eyes never leaving the mother cat. "Yes, in the bushes by the road," Anna replied. "Were they exposed to anything unusual?" he continued, palpating the cat's abdomen. "I didn't see anything," Anna said, feeling nervous under his scrutiny. The vet nodded, his mind clearly working through the possibilities. "All right, let's get some fluids into her," he said, reaching for an IV. Anna answered the vet's questions, feeling a mix of hope and anxiety about the cat's prognosis. "Do you think she'll make it?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. The vet looked at her, his expression serious. "We'll do everything we can," he assured her. Anna nodded, trying to hold on to that small comfort. As the vet continued to work, she felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down on her. The kittens huddled together, their tiny cries tugging at her heart. Anna felt the vet's questions were routine, but his secretive behavior made her suspicious. He kept glancing at the door and whispering to the technician. "Is there something you're not telling me?" Anna finally asked, her anxiety growing. The vet looked up, clearly taken aback. "I just need to focus on the treatment," he said evasively. Anna didn't buy it. She watched him closely, noting the way he avoided direct eye contact. Something was definitely off, and she intended to find out what. She began prying, trying to understand why the vet seemed to be hiding something from her. "You're not just worried about the cat, are you?" Anna pressed. The vet sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "There's more to this situation than you realize," he admitted reluctantly. "Like what?" Anna demanded, her patience wearing thin. "I deserve to know if there's a bigger issue." The vet hesitated, clearly torn. Anna's eyes narrowed. "Please, just tell me what's going on," she urged, desperation in her voice. The vet hesitated, then revealed he needed to call the police, shocking Anna with this unexpected news. "Why the police?" she gasped. The vet looked at her seriously. "There's something suspicious about the cat's condition," he explained. Anna's mind raced. "I just found her," she stammered, trying to make sense of it. The vet nodded. "I believe you, but I still need to report this," he said, picking up the phone. Anna felt her stomach drop as he started dialing. Anna worried about her own involvement, wondering if she would be believed about her innocence in the cat's sickness. She wrung her hands, pacing the small exam room. "What if they think I did something?" she murmured to herself. Her thoughts spiraled. She hadn't done anything wrong, but would they believe her? The vet glanced at her, sensing her panic. "Stay calm," he said gently. "Just tell them exactly what happened." Easier said than done, Anna thought, her anxiety mounting. The vet assured her he had to follow protocol, adding to her growing anxiety and confusion about the situation. "This is standard procedure," he explained, seeing the worry in her eyes. "Anytime there's a suspicion of abuse or neglect, we have to involve the authorities." Anna nodded, trying to process his words. "But I didn't do anything wrong," she insisted, her voice trembling. "I know," the vet said, "but we still need to do this by the book." Anna swallowed hard, feeling the weight of the situation pressing down on her. Anna demanded to know why the vet wanted to involve the police, but he remained secretive. "Why won't you just tell me what's going on?" she asked, frustration lacing her tone. The vet shook his head. "I can't give you all the details right now," he replied, looking genuinely regretful. "It's not that I don't want to, it's just part of the procedure." Anna's eyes narrowed. "I deserve to know," she insisted, but the vet held firm. "Please, just wait for the officers," he said, avoiding further explanation. The vet instructed Anna to wait for the officers, assuring her that things would become clearer soon. "I know this is stressful," he said, "but they'll be here shortly, and we can sort everything out." Anna sat down, her legs feeling weak. "How long will it take?" she asked, glancing at the door. "Not long," the vet replied. "They're usually pretty quick in these situations." Anna nodded, trying to steady her breathing. The vet turned back to the cat, his focus shifting as he prepared to run additional tests. Meanwhile, the vet ran additional tests on the cat, giving it some shots to stabilize its condition. Anna watched as he worked, her heart pounding in her chest. "This will help her breathe easier," the vet said, administering the first shot. He then took blood samples, his movements precise and swift. The kittens huddled close, mewling softly. "She's stronger than she looks," the vet commented, trying to reassure Anna. She nodded, feeling a tiny flicker of hope. He discovered a microchip in the cat, indicating it was not a stray, but had an owner. The vet's eyes widened as he scanned the chip. "This cat belongs to someone," he said, glancing at Anna. "Really?" Anna asked, a mix of surprise and relief in her voice. "Yes, this could help us understand more about her condition," the vet replied. He quickly jotted down the information and headed to his computer. Anna felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe this cat had a family who missed her. Let's show our support for Anna and the rescued kittens by getting this video to 8,000 likes. Your support helps us share more incredible animal rescue stories and spread awareness about the importance of helping animals in need. Anna felt a surge of hope, knowing the cat had a home, but the vet's serious expression worried her. "Is everything okay?" she asked, noticing his furrowed brows. "I'm looking up the owner's information now," he said, his tone cautious. Anna bit her lip, trying to stay positive. "It's good news, right?" she pressed. The vet sighed. "It's complicated," he admitted. Anna's heart sank a little. She wanted to believe the best, but the vet's demeanor suggested otherwise. The vet informed Anna that the microchip revealed the cat's owner, but it wasn't good news. "I've got the details," he said, turning to face her. "But I'm afraid it's not as straightforward as we hoped." Anna's stomach churned with unease. "What do you mean?" she asked. The vet took a deep breath. "The owner's information is still in the system, but there's a note attached," he explained. "It's not the kind of news you were expecting." Anna braced herself for the worst. He explained that the cat's owner had gone missing a few years ago, along with the cat. The records show that both the owner and the cat disappeared around the same time, the vet said quietly. Anna's eyes widened in shock. "Missing?" she echoed, trying to wrap her head around the revelation. The vet nodded. "Yes, it's a cold case now," he continued. "No leads, no closure." Anna felt a chill run down her spine. This was far more serious than she had imagined. Anna was stunned, realizing she might have found a clue in a missing person's case. Her mind raced, replaying the events that led her here. "I can't believe this," she whispered, feeling the weight of the situation. The vet watched her closely, sensing her shock. "This could be significant," he said gently. Anna nodded, trying to absorb the reality. What started as a rescue mission for a sick cat had now turned into something much bigger and more complicated. She struggled to process the information, feeling overwhelmed by the unexpected turn of events. "How could this happen?" Anna muttered, mostly to herself. The vet gave her a sympathetic look. "It's a lot to take in," he acknowledged. Anna paced the small room, her thoughts a whirlwind of confusion and concern. She kept glancing at the mother cat and her kittens, wondering what they had been through. "I just wanted to help," she said, feeling tears prick at the corners of her eyes. The police arrived quickly, causing a commotion in the waiting room as they entered the clinic. Anna heard the door swing open and turned to see two officers walking in briskly. "Where's Dr. Thompson?" one of them asked loudly. The receptionist pointed towards the exam room, and the officers headed straight there. Anna felt a mix of relief and fear as they approached. "Are you the one who found the cat?" the officer asked, looking at Anna intently. "Yes, that's me," she replied, her voice shaking slightly. The vet explained the situation to the officers, detailing the discovery of the microchip and the missing owner. "This cat belongs to someone who's been missing for years," he said, handing over the information he had found. The officers exchanged serious looks. "We need to get this information back to the station," one of them said. Anna stood by, listening intently, her heart pounding in her chest. She felt like she was in the middle of a crime drama, not real life. "What does this mean?" she asked, her voice small. Anna was asked to accompany the officers to the station for further questioning about the cat. "We need you to come with us," one of the officers said. Anna's eyes widened. "Am I in trouble?" she asked nervously. "No, we just need more details," the officer reassured her. The vet nodded encouragingly. "It's standard procedure," he said. Anna took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. She glanced at the cat and her kittens one last time before following the officers out of the clinic, feeling a strange mix of emotions. As she left the clinic, the person from before laughed, assuming Anna was being arrested. "What did she do now?" the woman scoffed loudly, making Anna cringe. "I'm not under arrest," Anna said defensively, but the woman just smirked. "Sure, whatever you say," she replied, her tone dripping with sarcasm. Anna hurried past, trying to ignore the stares from others in the waiting room. She followed the officers outside, feeling a mix of embarrassment and frustration. At the police station, Anna was taken to an interrogation room where she was questioned about the cat. The room was small and dimly lit, with a single table and a couple of chairs. "Please have a seat," one of the officers said. Anna sat down, her nerves on edge. Can you tell us exactly where you found the cat and her kittens? The officer asked, his tone calm but serious. Anna nodded, recounting the details of that morning. She felt like she was living in a surreal dream. The officers were kind, offering her water and making her feel at ease despite the serious situation. "Would you like some water?" one of them asked. Anna nodded gratefully. "Yes, please." The officer handed her a bottle and smiled reassuringly. "We just need to get as much information as possible," he explained. "You're not in any trouble." Anna took a sip of water, feeling slightly more relaxed. "Thank you," she said, appreciating their kindness. Despite everything, she felt a little bit better. Anna couldn't shake the feeling that the police were withholding information about the cat's story. As they continued to ask questions, she noticed their guarded expressions. "Is there something you're not telling me?" she finally asked, her curiosity getting the better of her. The officers exchanged glances. "We're just trying to piece everything together," one of them said evasively. Anna frowned, sensing there was more to the story. "I have a right to know if there's something important," she insisted, but the officers remained tight-lipped. The police finally asked Anna to show them where she had found the cat and its kittens. "We need you to take us to the exact location," the officer said. Anna nodded, feeling a bit apprehensive. "Okay, I can do that," she replied. They left the station together, Anna leading the way in her car, with the police following closely behind. As they drove, she couldn't help but wonder what they were expecting to find. The situation felt stranger with every passing minute. Anna led the officers to the spot where she had found the cat, watching as they taped off the area. The once quiet roadside was now a flurry of activity. Yellow police tape fluttered in the breeze as officers marked off sections of the ground. "This is where I found them," Anna pointed out, her voice barely above a whisper. She stepped back, feeling out of place as the officers moved efficiently. The seriousness of the scene made her stomach churn. Her heart raced as she asked the officers about the cat's owner, but they remained tight-lipped. "Do you know anything more about the owner?" Anna asked, trying to keep her voice steady. One of the officers glanced at her, his expression unreadable. "We're still looking into it," he said curtly. Anna felt a wave of frustration and anxiety. "But I need to know," she insisted. The officer shook his head. "I'm sorry, but we can't share details at this stage," he replied firmly. The officers began collecting evidence, making the situation feel even more real and serious. They took photos, gathered samples, and meticulously documented the area. Anna watched in a daze, the reality of the situation sinking in deeper. "Is this really happening?" she thought to herself. The officers worked methodically, their faces set in serious expressions. Anna felt like she was in the middle of a crime scene investigation show, only this was real life, and it was far more unsettling. Anna struggled to understand the full scope of what was happening, feeling increasingly anxious. "What's going on?" she murmured, more to herself than anyone else. The sight of the officers combing through the area for clues made her feel dizzy. She wrapped her arms around herself, trying to stave off the growing sense of dread. "Why won't they tell me anything?" she wondered. The more she thought about it, the more confused and worried she became. This was turning into a nightmare. An officer received a message on their walkie-talkie stating the cat's owner had been found. Anna's ears perked up as she overheard the conversation. "Are you sure?" the officer asked into the device. After a moment, he turned to his colleague. "They found the owner?" he said, his voice tinged with surprise. Anna's heart leaped. "Is the owner okay?" she asked eagerly. The officer glanced at her, his expression still guarded. "I don't have all the details yet," he replied. Anna's mind raced with possibilities, her anxiety mingling with a glimmer of hope. Anna impulsively jumped into one of the police cars, hoping to see what would happen next. She glanced around, making sure no one noticed her. The door was slightly ajar, and she slipped inside quietly. Her heart pounded in her chest as she crouched down in the back seat. "I can't believe I'm doing this," she thought, but curiosity overpowered her fear. She held her breath, praying the officers wouldn't catch her before they left. She hid in the back seat, hoping the officers wouldn't notice her as they sped through the streets. The car roared to life, and Anna pressed herself down, trying to stay out of sight. The radio crackled with updates, and she listened intently. "We're heading to the old factory," one of the officers said. Anna's mind raced with possibilities. She peeked out the window, watching the city blur by. The sense of urgency in the air made her heart race even faster. They arrived at a shut-down factory just outside of town, where more police were gathered. Anna peeked over the edge of the seat, her eyes widening at the sight. The factory looked abandoned, its windows broken and walls covered in graffiti. Police cars surrounded the building, lights flashing. "This place gives me the creeps," she whispered to herself. She ducked down again as the officers got out of the car. The atmosphere was tense, filled with anticipation and unease. At the factory, Anna observed the police swarming the area, feeling a mix of curiosity and fear. She carefully opened the door and slipped out, staying close to the car to avoid detection. Officers moved with purpose, talking into their radios and setting up barriers. What are they looking for? Anna wondered, her curiosity piqued. She edged closer, trying to get a better view. The air was thick with tension, and she felt a shiver run down her spine. She saw two officers escort a man out of the building, his head down as if in shame. Anna's breath caught in her throat. "Is that the cat's owner?" she thought. The man looked disheveled, his clothes dirty and his hair unkempt. The officers held him firmly, but didn't handcuff him. Anna watched intently, trying to read the situation. The man's demeanor was subdued, almost resigned. What did he do? She wondered, her mind racing with questions. The man wasn't handcuffed, but his demeanor suggested guilt, making Anna even more intrigued. She watched him closely, noting the slump in his shoulders and the way he avoided eye contact with everyone around him. What did he do? She wondered, her curiosity intensifying. The officers guided him gently but firmly, treating him more like a lost soul than a criminal. Anna's mind buzzed with questions, each one adding to the mystery of the situation. Suddenly, an officer tapped her on the shoulder, recognizing her from the station. Anna jumped, spinning around to face him. "What are you doing here?" the officer asked, eyebrows raised in surprise. Anna stammered, I just wanted to see what was happening." The officer sighed, shaking his head. "You shouldn't be here," he said firmly. Anna nodded, feeling a mix of embarrassment and relief that she hadn't been in serious trouble for sneaking along. He asked her to come with him, preparing to explain what they had discovered. "Come on," the officer said, gesturing towards his car. "I'll fill you in on the way." Anna followed him, her heart pounding with anticipation. She climbed into the passenger seat, grateful for the chance to finally get some answers. The officer started the car and began to drive, glancing at her from time to time. "We've pieced together some of the story," he began, his tone serious. The officer drove Anna back to her car, explaining the man's story along the way. "Turns out, the guy had a massive debt he couldn't pay," the officer said. "He decided to disappear to avoid the consequences." Anna listened intently, the pieces of the puzzle slowly falling into place. "So he just left everything behind?" she asked. The officer nodded. "Yeah, his life, his responsibilities, everything." Anna's heart ached for the man and the cat he had to abandon. "That's so sad," she murmured. He explained that the man had panicked when his cat suddenly fell ill, leaving it at a spot where it would be found, hoping it would receive medical care. He couldn't afford to take care of the cat, the officer continued, so he did what he thought was best. Anna felt a pang of sympathy for the man. "At least he tried to make sure the cat was safe," she said quietly. The officer nodded. It wasn't the best choice, but he didn't know what else to do. Anna stared out the window, lost in thought as they neared her car. She thanked the officer for the explanation, feeling a sense of closure as she returned to the clinic. "Thank you for telling me," Anna said sincerely. The officer nodded. "You did a good thing, helping that cat," he replied. Anna smiled, feeling a weight lift from her shoulders. As she walked back into the clinic, she felt a newfound sense of purpose. The chaos of the day seemed to fade, leaving her with a feeling of peace and resolution. Anna adopted the cat and its kittens, naming it Lucky, and took it home to start a new life together. "Welcome home, Lucky," she whispered as she set up a cozy bed for the feline family. The kittens explored their new surroundings, their tiny paws pattering on the floor. Anna watched them with a smile, feeling her heart swell with affection. "We're going to be just fine," she said, more to herself than to the cats. It felt like the start of something wonderful. She cared for the cat and its kittens, ensuring they received all the necessary treatments. Anna scheduled regular vet visits, making sure Lucky and her babies stayed healthy. "You're doing so well," she cooed as she fed the kittens. Lucky purred contentedly, clearly grateful for the care. Anna spent her evenings playing with them, enjoying their playful antics. It was a lot of work, but seeing them thrive made it all worth it. She felt a deep sense of satisfaction and joy. Anna felt a deep connection to Lucky, grateful for the unexpected turn of events that brought them together. "You've brought so much joy into my life," she told Lucky one evening. The cat blinked at her, seemingly understanding. Anna stroked Lucky's fur, feeling a bond she hadn't expected. "I'm so glad I found you," she whispered. The kittens curled up beside their mother, creating a picture of perfect contentment. Anna knew she had made the right choice in keeping them. The vet followed up on Lucky's condition, happy to see the cat thriving in a loving home. "She looks fantastic," the vet said during a checkup. Anna beamed with pride. "She's been doing great," she replied. The vet nodded, smiling. "You've done a wonderful job with her," he said. Anna felt a warm glow of accomplishment. "Thank you," she said. It felt good to know that her efforts were making a difference. Lucky's purrs and the kitten's playful antics were the best rewards. Anna's life changed in ways she hadn't anticipated, but she embraced her new role as Lucky's caregiver. Her days were now filled with feeding, playing, and caring for the cats. "You've turned my world upside down," she laughed, watching the kittens chase a ball of yarn. But it was a good kind of chaos, one that brought her immense joy. Anna knew that taking in Lucky and her kittens was one of the best decisions she had ever made. Life was richer and more fulfilling with them by her side.